Hello everyone, today I'm gonna talk about the solutions of some SAT math questions which are about lines, angles and triangles. So let's begin and do them together. Our first question is that in the figure above, line A is parallel to line B and line D is parallel to line E. What the value of y in degrees? Firstly, we can say that the angle 5x and 2x plus 5 are supplementary angles. It means that their sum must be equal to 180 degree. So let's write 5x plus 2x plus 5 is equal to 180 degree. And combine like terms, we'll get that 7x plus 5 is equal to 180. Let's subtract 5 both sides of this equation. We'll get that 7x is equal to 175 degree. And divide both sides of this equation by 7. We'll obtain that x is equal to 175 divided by 7. That is equal to 25 degree. And we know that the sum of the interior angles of a triangle must be equal to 180 degree. So let's write 5x plus x plus 2y is equal to 180 degree. Combine like terms 5x and x, we'll get that 6x plus 2y is equal to 180 degree. Divide both sides of this equation by 2, we'll get that 3x plus y is equal to 180 divided by 2, that is equal to 90 degree. And we know that x is equal to 25 degree, so 3 times x will be equal to 75. 75 plus y is equal to 90. And subtract 75 both sides of this equation, we'll get that y is equal to 90 minus 75. That is equal to 15. So 15 will be our answer. Our next question. Two straight lines intersect to form the angles above. If the measure of angle x is 3 times the measure of angle y, what's the measure of angle z? According to the condition of this question, the measure of angle x is 3 times of the measure of angle y. So we can write x is equal to 3y. And we see that the angle x and y are supplementary angles. It means that their sum must be equal to 180 degree. So let's write x plus y is equal to 180. And let's write 3y in the place of x. So we'll get that 3y plus y is equal to 180. And like combined terms, 4y is equal to 180. Divide both sides of this equation by 4. We'll get that y is equal to 45 degree. And according to the condition of this question, we must find the measure of angle z. So we can see that the angle x and z are vertical angles. It means that the measure of angle z is equal to the measure of angle x. And x is equal to 3y. Y is equal to 45, so z will be equal to 3 times 45. That is equal to 135. So our answer will be 135. Let's continue. Our next question is that in the figure above, x plus z is equal to a plus c. Which of the following must be true? In the figure which is given to us, we see that the angle x and z and respectively the angles A and C are vertical angles. It means that their value must be equal. So let's write x is equal to z and A is equal to C. Let's write z in the place of x and respectively A in the place of C. We'll get that 2z is equal to 2 times A. Divide both sides of this equation by 2, we'll obtain that z is equal to A. So z and A are alternate interior angles. uh, their value are equal. So we can say that these lines are parallel and these lines are intersected by a third line. In other words, they are intersected by transversal. So the second statement must be true. The two horizontal lines are parallel. And our first statement is that d plus b is equal to w plus y. We can see that d and b are vertical angles, so their measure must be equal, and respectively the angle y and w are vertical, so their measure are also equal. And we can write that d is equal to b and w is equal to y. And in other case, the angle W and B are alternate interior angles, so they are must be equal. W uh, W is equal to B, and we will get that B plus B is equal to W plus W. So we'll obtain that 2b is equal to 2 times w and divide both sides of this equation by 2. We'll obtain that b is equal to w. That is true. So our first statement must be true. And our third statement is that x is equal to b. X and b are not equal because x and z are vertical angles, so their measure must be equal, and z and b are supplementary angles. It means that their sum must be equal to 180 degrees. So we can say that the sum of the angles b and x must be equal to 180 degree. So the third statement is wrong, and our answer will be first and second only. Our next question is that in the figure above, if lines G and K are parallel and angle H measures 121 degrees, what the value of P? According to the condition of this question, the value of the angle H is equal to 121 degrees. So the angle which is complementary to this angle will be equal to 180 minus 121. That is equal to 59 degrees. In other words, this angle is equal to 159 degrees. And according to the condition of this question, we must find the value of the angle P. And we see that the angle P and the angle 59 are alternate interior angles. It means that their measure must be equal. So we'll get that P is equal to 59 degrees. And our answer will be 59. Let's continue our next question. In the diagram above, lines AD and BE intersect at point C. What's the measure of angle ACE? According to the condition of this question, we must find the measure of the angle ACE. Let's denote this angle by alpha. And in other case, we know that the sum of the interior angles of a triangle must be equal to 180 degree. So let's apply this theorem to the triangle CED. We'll get that the angle ECD plus 90 plus 35 is equal to 180. And we'll get that the angle ECD plus 125 is equal to 180. Let's subtract 125 both sides of this equation. We'll get that the angle AECD is equal to 55 degree. And the angle AECD and the angle alpha are supplementary angles. It means that their sum must be equal to 180 degree. So we can write alpha plus 55 is equal to 180. Let's subtract 55 both sides of this equation. We'll get that alpha is equal to 125 degree. So our answer will be 125. Our next question is that what is the a plus b plus c plus d? Okay, let's donate these angles by x and y. And we know that the measure of the straight angle is equal to 180 degree. So we can write 30 plus x plus y is equal to 180 degree. So let's subtract 30 both sides of this equation. We'll get that x plus y is equal to 150 degree. And we know that the sum of the interior angles of a triangle must be equal to 180 degree. So we can write a plus c plus x plus 30 is equal to 180. And subtract 30 both sides of this equation. We'll get that a plus c plus x is equal to 150. And respectively, the sum of the angle b plus d plus y plus 30 is equal to 180. And subtracting 30 both sides of this equation, we'll get that b plus d plus y is equal to 150. And adding these two equations, we'll get that a plus b plus c, a plus b plus c uh, plus d plus x plus y plus x plus y is equal to 150 plus 150, that is equal to 300. And we know that the sum of the angle x and y is equal to 150. So we can write the sum of the angle a plus b plus c plus d is equal to 300 minus 150. That is equal to 150 degree. So our answer will be 150. Let's continue our next question. In the image above, x is equal to 80, what the value of y? X, according to the condition of this question, x, the angle x has the measure which is equal to 80. Donate this angle alpha. We know that the sum of the interior angles of a triangle is equal to 180. So we can write 30 plus 80 plus x, alpha is equal to 180. And we'll get that 110 plus alpha is equal to 180. Let's subtract 110 both sides of this equation. We'll get that alpha is equal to 70 degree. And we know that the vertical angles are equal. So this angle must be equal to 70 degree. And let's apply the theorem that the sum of the interior angles of a triangle is equal to 180 to this triangle. We'll get that 50 plus 70 plus y is equal to 180. So we obtain that 120 plus y is equal to 180. Let's subtract 120 both sides of this equation. We'll get that y is equal to 60 degree. So our answer will be 60. Our next question is that figure not drawn to scale, what the value of x in degree in the figure above. We know that the sum of the interior angles of a triangle must be equal to 180. Let's donate this angle by alpha. So we can write 140 plus alpha plus 15 is equal to 180. So we'll get that 155 plus alpha is equal to 180, and we obtain that alpha is equal to 180 minus 155. That is equal to 25. So let's apply this theorem againly. We'll obtain that alpha plus 20 plus x is equal to 180, and alpha is equal to 25. So we can write 25 plus 20 plus x is equal to 180. we'll get that x is equal to 180 minus 45 degree. That is equal to 135. So our answer will be 135. Let's continue our next question. In the figure above, lines A and B are parallel. What's the value of x? We know that the vertical angles are equal, so this angle must be equal to x. And the angles which are obtained by intersecting two parallel lines with a transversal, which are known as alternate interior angles, are equal. So this angle also is equal to x. And we know that the complementary angles are the angles whose sum is equal to 180 supplementary angles. So this angle, the measure of this angle must be equal to 180 minus 95. That is equal to 85 degree. So, and we also know the exterior angle of a triangle is equal to the sum of two interior angles of this triangle, which is not supplementary to this angle. So we can write that x is equal to 40 plus 85. That is equal to 125 degrees. So our answer will be 125. And our last question is that in the diagram above, lines x, y, and z all intersect at point A. If m is equal to 20 and n is equal to 130, what's the value of p? If the angle m is equal to 20 degrees, the vertical angles are equal, so this angle must be equal to 20 degrees. And according to the condition of this question, the angle n is equal to 130. And we know that the straight angle is the angle whose measure is equal to 180 degree. So we can write 130 plus 20 plus p is equal to 180. And we'll get that 150 plus p is equal to 180. Let's subtract 150 both sides of this equation. We'll obtain that p is equal to 30. So 30 is the answer of our question. Thank you for your watching and see you in the next videos.